Hi everybody, it's David Fleming here from the Toronto Realty Group, and welcome back to this week's Pick 5. Now I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is my old condo has come up for sale, and the bad news is not one single person emailed me about it. It's true. A lot of the readers and Pick 5 watchers over the years are very familiar with where I used to live, and it actually took a colleague of mine that mentioned it in passing. She said something like, well, yeah, with your old condo up for sale. I was like, wait, what? How did I not see this? Then she raised an excellent point when she said, how did you not see this? Touché. Now, she told me that it had actually been listed prior. It's on its second listing now. And I sent the photos to my wife. She's like, I'm not sure if I like what they've done with the kitchen. And I said, honey, we haven't lived there in 7 years. Calm down. But it did get me thinking. It's a real throwback. It's been 7 years. Life moves by very quickly. My wife and I were in that condo. Well, she's my girlfriend at first, then my fiance, then my wife. And we were in there for 7 years. These folks have been there for 7 years. I guess we all got the 7-year itch. Now it is up for sale again. If you recall, not if this is your first time watching Pick 5, I've always been a huge fan of outdoor spaces. We call those terraces in downtown Toronto. A terrace is not a balcony. A terrace is not, well, square footage divided by 3 different outdoor spaces. No, a terrace is something altogether different. It is functional, it is fun, it has a barbecue, it has a dining set, it has a lounge set. I had a ping pong table and a lot of trees. So I figured, what the heck, you know what? I want to look at places with condo terraces. I've done this Pick 5 many times over the years, but it is, well, it's 1 degree out. But it was 22 degrees last week, but it snowed yesterday. I don't know what season we're in. We're around the corner from summer. Condo terraces are awesome. They're fun. Today I'm going to show you 5 such condo terraces, well, condos with condo terraces. And then we're going to ask which one was mine. Okay, so let's start here first and foremost. This is the very first one. A note about condo terraces, I always want to know what's the ratio of inside square footage to outside square footage. So some people will say, why would I want a 700 square foot condo with a 1200 square foot terrace? That's way too big. Others would say, listen, I would get as big as I possibly could. And then when it's based on internal square footage, the price that is, well, maybe you're getting a deal, relatively speaking. So check this out, guys. This is 478 King Street West. They're missing the W. Penthouse 1. Now, we had a penthouse a couple years ago that had an unbelievable terrace. It was a bigger unit. This one here, 972 square feet inside, 908 square feet outside. So if you're the person that says, okay, well, you know, I'd like my terrace to be as big as my unit, there you are. Now you can see here, living, kitchen, primary, second, flat, and den second. What in the world does that mean? Well, that means that you've got to walk up to your outdoor space upstairs. So I wouldn't quite call that a den. This listing's maybe missing a few things, but let's take a look. So it's a very long unit. Some people don't like that. I would say the benefit, of course, is you get a ton of floor-to-ceiling glass, lots of windows. Window coverings, boy, they're a big pain in the tuchus. And I will say that when we get to the unit that I lived in, they changed the position of the TV. It's west-facing now. I don't know what they do with the sun. They still have our window coverings. And guess what? My mom sewed those together. All right, keep going here. We've got staging lemons, beauty. There we go. That's upstairs, which we're going to come back to. Living, dining, kitchen. For $1,260,000, that's your dining room. I don't know, George. That's from Seinfeld, by the way. Yeah, I don't know, George. There's just no rush in bowling. So, yeah, I don't know, George, if that is what I want for $1,260,000. I'd like to have more than 3 people crowded around a glorified bistro set. The view, not fantastic. We're kind of staring across the street at something else, but today it's all about terraces. So why don't I just rush through this? Yeah, honestly, that doesn't do it for me. I need more of a dining area. Well, not now because I don't have people over. Sometimes I do when my wife invites them. But I'm talking about back in the day when we lived downtown and we were cool and we had a condo terrace. Yeah, the 4-piece and person bistro set doesn't do it for me. So this is kind of familiar. I mentioned my client's place, or not anymore. They had probably 1,500 square feet inside, probably 2,000 square feet outside. The layout's feeling quite similar. The finishes in here are a bit sterile, this kind of white flooring. This reminds me of a place I had, oh God, I want to say '08. It was out in like Minico. Everything was white. Here you go. Listen, it's not snowing outside anymore. Go over there, take some nude photos. It'll do your body good. Yeah, there you go. That's not the terrace. That's just like the little penalty box, as we call it. So here you go. You have over 900 square feet. You should be able to fit a king. For $1,260,000, I wouldn't say my prerequisites, but two things I'm certainly looking for. One is a dining table that fits more than 4 people around, and 2 is a bedroom that fits a king-size bed. So boxes checked there. Again, pretty basic finishes here. Now we'll go upstairs and you see this is the den that they mentioned. Yeah, that's where you want to spend a lot of your time. But over here, peeking around, hello, we start to see some bottles of booze. Party time, yes, we are going up to the terrace. So the clients that I had, they were down the hall from this. They didn't put anything up here, right? It was just storage. These are out of order now. Oh my God, this is whack. Oh God, get me out of here. You were taking us upstairs. Everything was looking good. Now we're back in the lobby. Now we're outside. Now we're into amenities. Oh, now we're back in the unit. Now we've got renderings. Who put this listing together? Oh my goodness. And eventually, guess what? More renderings. More renderings. You get to the gym. And then when we do have terrace shots, there's good news and bad news. The good news is it's a nice photo. The bad news is it's a picture of a picture. Well, they did what they could. They were not able to stage this because it was the dead of winter. They did have photos either from a prior listing or from, I don't know, they just felt like taking pictures. They're pretty terrace. But they took a picture of that picture, and it's, as you can see, I don't know how we're editing this, but it's a lot smaller than the other photos. So that aside, let's take a look. We're open air. There's no one above us. We are staring at the CN Tower, which I can tell you I did for 7 years in my condo, and eventually I was like, I'm kind of bored of this. My wife loved it. It lights up at night. She thought it was just the coolest thing. You have, here's your conversation area. Here's your dining area. You've got, where is your barbecue? There's your barbecue, and you can still see the CN Tower. So you do have a neighbor here, but again, open air. There's no one above you, and to me, that is the best thing about a terrace. My terrace at 230 King Street back in the day, beautiful 440 square foot terrace, but I had, 20 floors of people above me flicking cigarette butts down because people are awful. So there's your den, right? I was joking about that. And notice how it goes all the way back here. So you've got more area here. The square footage is not limited to just that one area that we talked about where your conversation set was. Your barbecue's over here. So I don't really know that you're doing a ton with the square footage. Sunbathing, maybe. And there you go. So I really like that one. This gets a rave review from me. It has 2 parking spaces. Maybe you don't need them. $1,260,000, 50 days in the market. It's not selling, but I think there's tremendous value there. That's not where I lived. Okay, so the next one here, is this where I lived? No, my brother lived here for many years. So this is one of my favorite buildings, 168 King Street East. I lived at 230 King. This is King George Square. I lived at King's Court. It was called King's Court. So this is a 2-bed, 2-bath. You can see terrace here, but only 900, right? 900 square feet. So the ratio here is fascinating, guys. The unit is about 900 square feet and the terrace is 1,400. So the building itself, it's a little dated. It's an older demographic. This unit is renovated, and it's amazing to me because they did such a good job on the unit. And then the terrace is kind of like, meh, meh. So inside, oh, and the other thing is, when this came up for sale years ago, I showed it and I begged my client to buy it. Begged. Single guy, didn't want to put the work in. It sold, and then he immediately regretted it. He ended up buying a house. But I can tell you the impact that not buying this unit had on him was he could never find a condo that was comparable because of the outdoor square footage. So then he ended up buying a house. So inside, and again, keep in mind, this is an older building. This unit is fully renovated. This is absolutely beautiful. I think this is one of the best units on the market right now. As I said, it's only 900 square feet inside. Great photo of the Gaggenau appliances, and beautiful, right? Maybe it's not your cup of tea, but they certainly did a good job with this. Photography is, not my jam. I'm not sure if I like that angle. Here you go, a lot of mirrors happening. Not a huge unit, right? We said 900 square feet, but you can see the terrace poking outside, right? So outside, here's the rub. Let's go back, guys. Humor me. Just humor me, like my wife does every single time I speak. Okay, that's what I want to show you. Outside here, what do you see? I see sun, I see greenery, I see chair, I see awning. I'm pretty happy. Then I get to here and I see patio stone. So I'll tell you this, you have to trust me. This is opportunity. I put Trex decking in my condo in 2012. Trex stands a test of time. It's for sale, it's still there, so no, this was not my unit. What I see right here is square footage, 1,400 square feet, it's open air, it's got a panoramic view. And listen, we have a pretty crappy outdoor rug. We've got a couple of planter boxes, and then we've just got nothing here. This is what I would do. I would buy this place, and they're underselling it. That's the view. And then here's what, 2 chairs facing south at the water. And we're set for dinner. And that's it. That's it. That's all the pictures you took of your biggest asset. Here's what I would do, which is what I was saying before I cut myself off. I go Trex decking the whole thing. I do it in a gray. I have custom planter boxes built. Find a carpenter. I've got a guy. Custom planter boxes all around. And then if you have the wherewithal yourself or some friends that maybe you pulled out of a burning car or you want to pay somebody, I would green the you-know-what out of this. This has so much potential. You could do a hot tub. You could do a ping pong table. You could do so many different things. But 1,400 square feet of outdoor space, 63 days in the market, $1,349,000. I think this is one of the best units on the market in downtown Toronto right now. Okay, so moving along to the next one here, 20 Minowan Miikan Lane. You know I didn't live here because I can barely pronounce it. This is known as the Carnaby, and it's a pretty cool unit. Now, first day on the market, $1,500,000. Go on. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath. Now, the problem with 3 bedrooms is people don't want them. People really don't value 3 bedrooms. In fact, I've got a unit downtown at Kensington. It's 1,250 square feet and it's a 1-bedroom. And you might be like, oh my God, it's only a 1-bed. Do you need a 2nd bedroom? Do you have someone sleeping there? Do you have a child? The answer to all those questions is no. Huge living, huge dining, huge kitchen, huge bedroom. The thing about 3 bedrooms is that if you don't have 2 kids or you're married and you both work from home, what are you really doing with them? So it kind of affects the floor plan. Now this unit is 1,100 inside and 680 outside. So look at the ratios there. Again, for the person that says, I don't want a terrace that's twice the size of my condo, or the person that says, I want the biggest thing I can get. This, obviously, the ratio is a bit different. When we get to my condo, my old condo, I'll show you the ratio is almost the same. So here they start with the best photo, which is, of course, CN Tower. Now, the CN Tower is a lot further away here. That's because we're way out at Dufferin. And the one I showed you before was at Victory. We should name that the Johnny Drama Condo. Remember Johnny Drama from Entourage? Victory! And so it's called Victory Condos. Now, inside, very, very pretty. We just came from King George Square, older building, nice reno. This is a little bit newer, as you can see, because it's open concept. It's got the concrete ceiling. It's a 9-foot ceiling as opposed to an 8-foot ceiling. But hey, where do we put our TV? Because we've kind of got like open concept here, and then we're just staring at our kitchen. So it is what you make of it, how you decide to set it up. Sometimes when you look at something like this, it looks really good in photos, and then you say, well, where's the functionality? My guess is with those 3 bedrooms, one of them is a TV room. So you might see somebody with the 3 bedrooms make one of those rooms in the TV room, and then this whole thing is dining, entertaining. Here they've done the couch. I don't know if that's theirs. I would guess by the Springsteen stuff, yes, probably their setup and not staging. But a 3 bedroom, it's very versatile. That's a great photo right there. I really like that one. And here you go. It feels like we're walking in the master bedroom. You can see you've got a walkout from the master bedroom. Do we have a walkout from the master bedroom in our old condo? No, we had it from the 2nd bedroom, which eventually became a nursery, which explains why we moved, among other reasons. Yeah, it was time. Okay, so there's the 2 bedrooms. Let's get to the terrace. Keep going. Great. I get to wake up in the morning and see the CN Tower. Be reminded of the stair climb I did with Toronto's, Ontario Teachers Pension Plan in 2007. Yeah, my brother used to work there. We climbed the CN Tower. I take things seriously. I raced like a maniac, let me tell you. Then you get to the top and you see the people you started with, and it's like they walk the whole thing. It's like, if you're going to do it right, man. You're supposed to run. Yeah, it's like 150 flights of stairs. Okay, yeah, that's a tangent. So unlike me. Here we go. We're outside. We have a built-in kitchen. We have a trellis. I love that, right? We could grow some grapes up here of wrath, maybe. No? Okay, we have an outdoor heater. We have a conversation set, and we have a dinner set. We have everything that David wants. David's talking about himself in third person, first person. Here we've got decking, might not be Trex, open air, nobody above us, sentence fragments, fake plants. So I like this. It's got a lot going for it. It has 1, 2, 3 different areas. Conversation 1 over here. Dinner and conversation 2. For like A party and B party. If you have enough people, they're going to fragment off. They're going to segment themselves. And then you go over here, you just invade it, and they all stop talking, and you're like, what were you guys talking about? Okay, so not like my life at all. And there you go, the rest of the photos of that place. So I love that terrace, and that terrace was only $680. But again, you had under the trellis, little conversation set, A party. Then you had dinner party. Then you had conversation set on the other side, B party. It's got 3 different areas. I really like this. I think 1.5 million is a little bit optimistic. All right, so let's go to the next one here, which is my old stomping grounds. There it is. I proposed to my wife in here. Can we get a quick video of that, please? God, that was so long ago. Oh my God, time flies. Okay, so this is it. 112 George 902. I'll save you the story, but I remember when this thing came out of the market, I had no fewer than 3 different people email me, "You're the Terrace guy, you got to go see this." I did. I brought my girlfriend, now wife at the time, and then I brought 2 friends from work, and that was a bad idea because she was like, "Do you really want my opinion on this, or did you just bring your friends?" Bam. If I had to do that one over, seriously, don't take life advice from me, especially my cousin who got married on Sunday night. I really regret what I wrote in the card. Okay, so this is an awesome place, and not just because it used to be mine. I'm going to save you going through photos and such of, my kid out on the terrace and me, whatever. But this is where I used to live. I bought this place in, I want to say 2011 and sold it in 2018. I built this deck up here. Oh, sorry, I didn't. 2 men did. And it looks like these guys have added lights, which I did not have. But this deck, this is where we had the conversation area. You stare at the CN Tower. I don't know if the sky ever looked like that, but that's pretty cool. And there you go during the day. So I built these planter boxes. Again, not me, a man did. He was probably big and burly. And come on, I can do some woodworking. I won the shop award in 1994 at Besborough School, okay? So inside the unit, this is where we had our dining table. And I'm pretty sure that's the same light fixture. These are the curtains that my mom sewed. No word of a lie. I bought curtains because I didn't want to do custom. That's what I used to do back in the day, drive myself crazy. And I found some panels. They were great, but they were too short, so Carol sewed them together. Now, here's what I meant. This is west facing. Another mistake I made, they redid the kitchen. That's nice. Another mistake I made when I moved in, bringing my then girlfriend and a couple girls from work to get conflicting opinions. Another mistake I made, go on with it, David, was I did not have window coverings, and it was blinding light, west facing. It was like a greenhouse in there too. So we had our TV on this wall here, and we had our couch here. They have their TV on this wall, which it looks pretty cool the way it's set up, but there's no way to watch TV here with the west facing sun. When we did have, let me spin this around, guys. We did have our TV on this wall. We also wanted to cover up this ugliness. When we had our TV on this wall, I can tell you that it was really hard to watch golf during the day. First world problems. I wanted to tape garbage bags to the windows. So eventually Carol got her act together and sewed the damn panels together. Here's the master bedroom. That was my wife's bathroom. And that was the second bedroom / nursery. And the furniture from the second bedroom is in my mother's basement, literally untouched. I don't think we ever went in this room until my daughter was born. So that was the primary bathroom, which they've changed the vanity. And then they turned the den. Have you ever seen the video of me playing racquetball in a den? Can we show that?
Racquetball court.
You'll have to take my word for it. It was basically a sarcastic look at condo dens. Now they turned that, let's get a little freeze frame there. I don't know if we can do a little side by side, okay, into this. So obviously you'd rather have David playing racquetball in your den. No, they did a really good job putting a closet in here. And I didn't actually see what they did in the primary bedroom because we had closets that were side to side. We'll see if we can find a floor plan here. And there you go, the rest of the outdoor space. This was the table that I had and I sold it with the unit, seemed to make sense. I used to have blue spruces up here. This out here, this was really just the roof of the podium of the building. And so it was pretty much like, it wasn't really used. I would occasionally run out there and I don't know, we used to like throw the football around or something like that. It was crazy. And then once the property manager was like, "No, you can't go out there." I was like, dude, I literally keep all my gardening supplies on the other side of this. So one year, oh my God, I planted tomatoes. It was the coolest thing. I had so many tomatoes, I didn't know what to do with them. I started bringing them to work and people were like, only people like over 70 give other people tomatoes. So now we're into, now you don't want to see these. These are the amenities. Let's go back to the terrace shots. So that's not really the view from my old unit. That is. And it's a shame because this is on the 9th floor. If this was 2 floors higher, you'd have a view of St. James Park. So don't get me wrong. If you stand right here and go like this, you can see the entire park. But I built this deck up, and let's go back to the first one here, guys. See how I built this deck up? Now, shh, don't tell anyone, but like totally not to code. I didn't get permission. I don't care. And technically, because this banister has to be a certain height, if you're standing up here, you could fall to, I don't know, 2 feet below. I'm not a rule follower. So point is, I built this deck, which is up about 1.5 feet to give an elevated view so that you can see St. James Park. But my God, whoever was building this condo, Aspen Ridge, This is the 9th floor. If you put it on the 11th or 12th, you would have been able to see the entire St. James Park. So this is about 1,100 square feet inside, 1,100 square feet outside. It's $1.8 million. They brought it out at $2 million. God love you. I hope you get it. I think that's pretty rich. I'm just gonna say. I mean, it was my old place, but anyways, that's it. Womp womp. Okay, so the last one we're gonna see here, very cool unit. Now this one doesn't have the best terrace photo, but I need to show you the opportunity. So again, a 3-bed, 2-bath. Now this one is 1,400 square feet inside, and I believe it is, yes, 900 square feet inside. So 1,400 in, 900 out, that's pretty good. It's at 400 Adelaide, so this is not the best street. Again, I would say King Street is great, and then you go up to Adelaide and it's busier, and then you go up to Richmond and it's a thoroughfare. So interior rather, I like the position of the kitchen. You've got bar stools separating. Living in the middle is kind of interesting. You'd normally have living over here and dining over here. But let's continue to take a look throughout. I think the space works. And it's funny because they have so few photos of this before they actually get to their terrace pictures. Yeah. So 3 beds, don't need to tour them. We just want to see the terrace. Maybe it'll be 22 next week and then it'll snow again. So what I like about this kitchen, I love open concept kitchens, but they just don't work a lot of the time when you need separation. So give me a peninsula kitchen here. I get 3 bar stools. You could have done an island as well, except you've got that wall. So my old place, they actually did a much smaller island. That kitchen reno, man, I just hate renovating. Oy, good for those guys. Wonder if that's ever gonna sell. Okay, so let's get to the terrace. So here you go. So as I said, I wanted to show you opportunity. What you have here are these ugly, ugly, ugly patio stones. And this is what I showed you at George. But remember my not at George, at King. But remember my condo on George, that beautiful deck? Guys, it's Trex decking. You take some 2x4 and you prop it up about this big, you put the decking on top, all of the water slopes down, it goes through the cracks. It's amazing. Here, and I can tell you from 230 King Street, this here, water has nowhere to go, water pools, and it's ugly, and it's dirty, and it's really tough to keep clean. What you could do here is amazing. You can see the lake. Now this is kind of ugly. Crane, condo under construction, and then I've got these ugly patio stones, and there's no greenery, right? Ping pong table. You've heard my story. I bought a ping pong table for my condo terrace. Turns out the ping pong ball is the lightest piece of sports equipment on the planet. And if you're downwind, remember it's like you hit it and it just blows back in your face. Or if you're on the other side, you hit it and it blows 50 feet over your buddy's head. So God love you for trying the ping pong table out there. Is that a Kettler? No, it's a Jula. I know too much about ping pong tables. Ask me how many times a gust of wind came and blew the cover off my ping pong table. First world problems. I once found it in a tree in St. James Park. True story. So I love this outdoor space. I love that it's open air, minus this guy here, one person sitting up here. Imagine you guys are here. You're having like a conversation like about politics or something. You're like, yeah, no, I really think I'm going to vote for the Green Party. And then you just hear, well, that's crazy. And you're like, oh, hey, Eddie. And Eddie is sitting right here. Okay, this is you. And this is your friend Karen, and this is your friend Becky, then Eddie's up here. He just sits there. He tries to get involved in every conversation. So I think this has a ton of potential, and I would put decking out here. I would put greenery out here. I would build custom planters out here. Yes, you've got someone on the other side. But then let's go back inside the condo, right? 6-person round. I think that's kind of neat. It's like being out for Chinese food at 3 in the morning. Remember that? You go to that place that would serve cold tea or hot tea, and that was code for illegally drinking. I don't think I've done that in 20 years. Inside, some pretty dark colors here. That's an interesting look. Nice bathroom reno. His and hers sink. Theirs and whoever sinks. I don't know. So we got 2 sinks. Why don't we just call that double sinks? That won't offend anybody. And then another bedroom. 3 bedrooms. We did mention that, right? And then, see what they did here? They turned this one into a dressing room, not unlike the folks that bought my old place. And you've got a little Mac desk. I'm just fascinated by people with Macs, right? They're so minimalist. Oh, I've got a ghost chair. I don't even use a mouse. I just blink and everything moves on the screen. That's an interesting look there. Bearskin rug. Just want to lay down and cuddle up in that. Okay, so there you go. So that's 400 Adelaide. I said some weird things in today's video. That's fine. But yeah, little trip down memory lane. And so to my friend that sent it to me, thank you for doing that. I absolutely did not see that my old condo was listed. But I have written about this on TRB so many times and talked about it in podcasts, whether talking about first-time buyers or what to look for in a condo or the difference between houses and condos. So many times I come back to this idea of a terrace. I bought my first condo in 2005. 575 square feet, 440 square foot terrace. I had a barbecue. I built planter boxes. I actually did build those myself that time. And I had an outdoor conversation area. I had a 6-person dining table, and I had a lot of greenery and I had a barbecue. I then bought a place with an 1,100 square foot terrace. I built a deck. I had a ping pong table. That was a mistake. I had a 12-person outdoor table. I had a hammock at one point, okay? Before earbuds were invented, but I did have like the old headset here, and I would just rock out with my BlackBerry 8600 making phone calls in my hammock. Then eventually we had a daughter, and we didn't use the terrace very much after that. We also had some bird poo problems. That's another story. And we outgrew it. We were there for 7 years. It was absolutely amazing and magical. And it's kind of sad to see the place in the market now because 7 years gone by quickly. But yeah, I think all 5 of these units have tremendous value. And I think that if you are a condo buyer, whether you're buying for 500 or whether you're buying for 5 million, give some thought to outdoor spaces. Folks, thank you so much for watching Pick 5 as always. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.